Although they're less than 50 miles apart, Tel Aviv lacks the historic significance of the holy city of Jerusalem. In place of religious sites and ancient ruins, Tel Aviv features world-class beaches and vibrant nightlife. Tradition in Tel Aviv consists of Friday night revelry rather than quiet reflecting, and kosher cuisine is overshadowed by a wealth of international culinary delights. You might just wonder what kosher food means. It means that they are following their religious rules, and it is in a way what halal is to Muslims. Food that is kosher would mean that the animal was killed in the most painless way possible according to Jewish law. They also condemn eating dairy with meat. Although most of the newer generation doesn't follow this law, it is still one of the most important Israel travel tips in 2022. Not that I'm proud to say, but I had no clue about this rule, so when I went to the mall and the sales assistant asked me what pizza I wanted, I told him that I would have loved mozzarella and ham, but there isn't any. And he kindly told me that they never combine cheese with meat. I told myself that I should have read a bit more about Israel before going there, so yes, try always to understand as much as possible about a country before going there to avoid embarrassing situations. The best times to visit Tel Aviv are March through April and September through November. Spring and fall mark this city's sweet tourism spots, boosting pleasant temperatures and affordable prices. Despite the intense heat, most travelers head to Tel Aviv during the summer months, determined to hit the beaches and return home with a tan. Between May and August, expect inflated prices. The winter months also see a spike in tourism as travelers from northern countries, particularly in Europe, come here to escape the cold weather. Israel is a very expensive country, much more expensive than what people think. So try booking a hotel near the city center with breakfast included if possible. That way you can explore the city by foot and you save on having to buy breakfast. I booked a capsule hotel near the beach and I walked everywhere without having to make use of the public transport. I will show you my capsule hotel in the next episode. Even though before going to Israel I was skeptic about Tel Aviv, this city made me change my mind. You really have a bit of everything in here. A lovely beach, the old city of Jaffa, which features stunning views over the city and over the sea and has lots of green areas, shopping malls, local food stores, parks, skyscrapers, and funky neighborhoods like Florentine, where street art is a very popular tourist attraction. If you can afford to, it would be great to pay a guide to show you around, as some graffitis are very popular and intriguing, and a guide could help you understand the story and the meaning that lies behind it. Florentine graffiti's stylistic influences include expressionism, surrealism, cubism, steampunk, animation, including anime, fantasy and horror, caricature, and more. Street art in Florentine presents an eclectic blend of themes. Classic colorful typography, playful robots, androids and humanoids, sometimes devolving into bizarre exploration of alien anatomy, various quasi-religious symbols, including invented deities, and the human figure, often disassembled distorted and violated. Drawing on walls is still illegal, but municipal authorities turn a blind eye. Entire streets have become a no man's land, swiftly conquered by spray paint and rich visual ideas. I had no internet connection and no guide, so I missed many of the most visited drawings. However, I managed to bump into some really cool ones, just enough to arouse your curiosity in case you will ever get to Tel Aviv. This bohemian and multicultural part of the city, even if sprinkled with ugly-looking unfinished buildings, it's still a place that's worth visiting. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all in my next episode.